Many assume that a journey from extreme poverty to high-level success requires a rare, innate genius. But in the case of a boy named Arjun, the outcome wasn't driven by intelligence. It was the result of a single, consistent choice. He simply outlasted the impulse to quit. Arjun grew up in a village where economic hardship was the baseline. For his family, a bad month didn't mean tightening the budget. It meant the physical absence of food. While his father worked manual labor, his mother took on housework for others. To make the little they had stretch, Arjun's mother would often skip dinner entirely, sliding her own portion across the table so her son wouldn't have to study on an empty stomach. This environment carries a social cost. At school, Arjun's classmates frequently mocked his worn clothes and his family status. The constant friction of being looked down upon eventually began to erode his confidence. The weight of it peaked one evening when Arjun sat with his father and admitted he had given up. He told him that someone with their life story wasn't meant to achieve anything significant. This illustrates the specific cycle Arjun was trapped in. A lack of resources creates social friction, and that friction eventually makes it impossible for a child to see a path forward. His father didn't argue with him. Instead, he took Arjun to a nearby field and placed a single, dry seed in his palm. He told Arjun to consider the seed's reality. It is buried in total darkness, shoved under the weight of the earth, and battered by the elements. But those exact conditions are what force the seed to break open and grow. The point was simple. Arjun was looking at the pressure of his life as a burial when he could see it as a planting. The heavy environment wasn't just a burden, it was the necessary resistance for growth. Arjun started trading his free hours for study. While his peers played outside, he began a daily routine of incremental, steady learning, focusing on small improvements he could actually control, rather than poverty he couldn't. He developed a new way to view his setbacks. He expected to fail occasionally. He saw it as a statistical certainty of trying anything difficult. But while he could accept a temporary loss, he permanently removed the option of walking away from the goal entirely. As this graph shows, progress often looks invisible for a long time. You absorb the friction of hard work and criticism, and for a while, nothing seems to change. But eventually, that accumulated effort hits a point where the trajectory shifts upward. Years later, Arjun hit his most significant obstacle. He took a major qualifying exam that represented his best chance at a career, and failed. Every single bit of the momentum that he had built up over the years came to a sudden, grinding halt. This kind of failure is dangerous because it reveals a harsh truth. Hard work doesn't always lead to a win on the first try. It left Arjun questioning if his father's lesson had been wrong all along. That night, he looked across the dark room and saw his mother in the corner of their house, weeping quietly. He listened as she asked for her son's years of effort not to be in vain. At that moment, Arjun's reason for working changed. It was no longer about his own ambition or his own future. He realized he owed a debt to the meals his mother had skipped and the labor his father had endured. He rebuilt his schedule with even tighter discipline. He cut out every distraction, started days before sunrise, and stopped making excuses. He focused entirely on execution. This diagram shows how Arjun survived that crash. When your own internal willpower fractures under a heavy failure, you need a secondary support to hold the structure together. For Arjun, that support was the responsibility he felt towards his family's sacrifice. By the time Arjun reached adulthood, his life was unrecognizable. The village that once watched him walk to school in rags now looked at him as a success story, often citing him as an example for the younger generation. The constant fear of starvation was gone. In its place was a home defined by stability and the quiet pride of a family that no longer had to choose who got to eat dinner. When asked what made the difference, Arjun pointed back to that field with his father. He noted that he wasn't the smartest person in his class. He was simply the one who stayed in the chair the longest after everyone else had given up. While your starting point is fixed, it doesn't determine where you finish. A person starting far behind can overtake those with a head start, provided their movement never stops. Hitting a barrier prompts an adjustment. Information from the loss reroutes the trajectory upward. Arjun's story isn't a promise that effort is always easy, but it is evidence that persistence is a choice. You can't control where you start, but you can choose to be the one who refuses to stop moving forward.